You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Don Soderquist, former Senior Vice Chairman of Wal-Mart, Inc., during a time where Wal-Mart grew from $1 billion to $200 billion in sales, becoming the largest company in the world. You're known as the keeper of the culture. What does that phrase mean to you?
Well, first of all, it isn't a name that I gave to myself. The idea of the keeper of the culture was that I think in the eyes of the people in the organization, it just kind of grew up. I don't even know who the first person was that called me the keeper of the culture. But when Sam died and it was left in our hands, I personally had a great concern that if we did not continue to follow the culture and continue to emphasize the values that made us what we were, I was very much concerned that we would become just another also-ran and we would plateau out. So frequently when it was speech time, I would make sure that I covered those points very clearly and explicitly with our people. I made sure throughout the organization that we were treating our people with respect and dignity. When there were breaches in that, we would deal harshly with breaches in mistreating our people or mistreating our customers or whatever. At our Saturday morning meetings, I would always run our Saturday morning meetings. We continued to talk about those values and the culture over and over again. And when he died, what we did is we set up, I decided that it would be best to set up the first Saturday of every month to make sure that we took one element of our culture. And so what I did is I would call on people from the audience, any member, someone from accounting or store operations or merchandising or real estate or whatever, and say in 2 weeks now, at our Culture Saturday, I would like you to take one of our elements of our culture and share it with the people. What your view of it? What does it look like in your mind? What does integrity look like in Wal-Mart? How do we perpetuate it? What does sense of urgency look like to you? And as a result of doing that, different people gave their different viewpoints on it, and it didn't matter what their position was in the company. And they did a fantastic job. And that took it out of the realm of just senior leadership talking about it. Everybody in the organization talked about it. So that was one of the ways, and I guess I somehow or other got called as the keeper of the culture.
The Saturday broadcast, those were via satellite to the entire company, correct?
We would do that. And it was altered over time. At one time, we just had it in our auditorium, and then we began sharing it over our satellite network to our people in the stores and our district managers out there. And we used our satellite network rather frequently for training purposes. We'd put classes on there for our people. We would, every month, there would be information going out about our sales. Every quarter, we would, several of the senior officers would get on that satellite network, and we would share with all of the people in the break rooms of all of our stores and clubs what our sales and profitability were for the quarter, and let them know the same day that it was being released to the media. We'd let our people know about them so they didn't read about it in the newspaper.
Makes them feel included then.
Absolutely. It was just we were very inclusive. Every store manager shared with every hourly associate in every store every month what our sales were and what our profitability were. We didn't, in that particular store, we just were very open with our people, and we felt if they really were included as partners in the business, then they would be very loyal and dedicated to the company and treat them as if they were really, shareholders in the company. Yes.
Are you able to tell us the points of the culture that you wanted to keep in Wal-Mart? I heard you mention keeping people as part of the team no matter what position they held in Wal-Mart. Were there other points of the culture that you wanted to keep alive?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I really believe that, you know what, now would probably be a good time to tell you this, that I think it's important to put this as an umbrella around everything I'm saying. Wal-Mart did not do everything perfectly. We made mistakes in things we did. We're a group of human beings, and human beings have frailties. And we also have different personalities, and we have different skills, and we have different abilities, and And so we made those human mistakes, and sometimes store managers didn't treat people properly. And as soon as we found out about it, we did something about it. And one of the vehicles that we used that was an important part of our culture was what we call the open door policy. And that said that no matter what your position may be in the company, that if there is something going on in the company that you think is inappropriate, please let us know. If you're afraid to go to your manager or your district manager, or you can call Sam Walton if you want to call Sam Walton, or you can send a letter to Sam Walton. You can call Don Soderquist or David Glass. And we worked hard at making sure that every one of those responses to us was handled by one of our people to find out what's going wrong. We found out that there were things going on in stores that were wrong, and we dealt with them. I think it's one thing to find out about it. The other thing is to deal with it. And what we tried to do with our open door policy was to make sure that people did not feel threatened, and that they could go ahead and bring that to the attention of senior leadership. And so we spent a lot of time working on that. So I think that's one of the critical elements of our culture. But there was a whole. That was part. By the way, I would include that under the umbrella of respect for the individual, respecting people's opinions. So there was a lot of elements like that under the banner of our culture.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.